On to you, Sagittarius. How you Sagittarius are doing? You Sagittarius have the Empress, the King of Wands, and then you also have the King of Pentacles. Okay, so for you Sagittarius, this is a sense of self-respect someone doesn't want you to have. No, you're gonna keep your head held high. You're gonna walk with some common sense, and you're not gonna be so worried or pressed when people try to engage with you and try to break you down. The King of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, a lot of you Sagittarius are starting to understand your value. Yes, you understood some value, but you're understanding more value. You're understanding, a lot of you Sagittarius are understanding that you are worth more. You know when you get that pain, but you are worth more from the glasses, from wearing glasses and stuff like this. You get pain, but you're worth more than people just coming through and then giving you a problem for no reason. Especially if you don't deserve that. And so this is a mark of, or a sign that you Sagittarius are taking less of that. You're serious, right? The way that you engage with other people is that you're interacting with them, but you're not taking their nonsense. How do you know, when you're taking their nonsense? Well, you have to become a better judge of what is okay versus what is not. And this is why it is that I was saying that you have to learn to develop thick skin. Because once you have thick skin, and I'm not saying that you Sagittarius don't have thick skin. I'm saying that once you develop really thick skin in that sense, right, and you let a lot of insults and kind of a certain amount of disrespect, not all of it, of course, but a certain amount of disrespect roll off your back like water does a duck, you won't be so uptight and getting and ready to get things started, right? You'll actually be able to judge a lot of different things depending on priorities, depending on how important they are. You know, a person kind of goofing on you a little bit, don't take that so personally, because you know you don't want to be fragile. You know, anytime somebody says something to you, what? It don't matter if you cry or if you want to fight them. You still tender if you get caught up like that. Right? And so, but at the same time, you don't want to have people disrespect you severely, and no matter how seriously they disrespect you, how profoundly they disrespect you, you go back, right? You want to make those two things join. You want to have a good mix of the two. You feel me? I'll let people kind of joke on me a little bit, crack on me a little bit. I'll even take jokes at myself. I'll even, if I'm being honest, I'll even laugh at myself because I have thick skin, right? I can be clumsy a little bit, and I'll make fun of the clumsiness. You know, this is me keeping things light and loose. I'll make fun of my looks a little bit. This is me just kind of, you understand what I'm saying? Just you know, making sure that I don't get on my own high horse, you know? Making sure that I'm still humble and, you know, keeping things light and playful. You know, I don't take myself too seriously. Do I take myself seriously? Yeah, but I don't take myself so seriously to the point where it's oligarchist. You know, it's oligarchism. It's elitism, right? Nah. I still know how to laugh. I still know how to enjoy myself. I still know how to make other people laugh. And to a certain extent, I'll still let other people laugh at me to a certain extent. Because a lot of people, especially in this society, my dear Sagittarius, they're sensitive. They're very sensitive. And so because they're sensitive, you have to be because you're conscious, because you're more kind of advanced, you kind of have to let other people be hypersensitive and you just chill, because you can't really, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Because like if you were to say something and do something, it's going to be impactful. But that goes to show you there's levels to this, because the stuff that they do, they can do it all day long because they're dysfunctional, petty. So there's a sense of you, Sagittarius, for yourselves having to learn what lines you need to have, right? That is a internal thing. That is a subjective thing. That is a thing that you, Sagittarius, have to decide on your own. Me personally, I don't mind if people take cracks at me when it comes to jokes a little bit. Just don't threaten me. You know what I mean? You know, that's a line. Just don't say what you're gonna do to my family. Now it's like, okay, what are you saying? Do I have to get you before you get me? You understand what I'm saying? I you know, and I would hope that no one would do that. You feel what I'm saying? I would hope no one would try that, because now it done turned into a self-defense situation. You understand what I'm saying? I would hope no one would do that. But I know where the lines are for me. I know, okay, the person is just talking trash. I can let that go. Cause come on, man. I had so many people talk trash about me to the point where I became impervious to that stuff. Talk, whether you mean it or you don't, whether you trying to really do that, really take shots at me or not. It's at a point where I've experienced that so much coming up. Take shots, laugh, it is what it is. Because there's some things about me that I can laugh at about myself, honestly. I like wearing, I'm a geek. I like wearing big geeky glasses like these. I can laugh at myself because look at how I look. You know what I mean? With the glasses. Look at how the glasses change my whole face. But I like stuff like that. Feel me? If a person goofed on me for that, I'm not taking it personally. It is what it is. Right? And so now that you, Sagittarius, are learning that's what I mean when I say boundaries. Other people can't take this. Two of Swords, the Fool card, the Chariot. You, Sagittarius, are ever so disciplined, calm, cool, collected, under pressure, almost like it didn't happen. And a lot of people can't take that because they're looking for reasons to kind of have an excuse as to why they can't take you seriously, and it's backfiring. So now it's a situation for you, Sagittarius, where you, Sagittarius, carrying yourself, like I said at the very beginning, with more integrity, dignity. People can come at you a certain kind of way and it ain't working. Now it's a particular situation for you, Sagittarius, where it's like, nothing that they say is really going to get you on your nerves, and very little of what they do is going to get you on your nerves. The Fool card in the Chariot right here represents the level of discipline that you, Sagittarius, have attained. Because it takes discipline too to not wild out. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline to hear things about yourself that you won't particularly like, but it keeps your ego in check. There's some things that people have talked about me. Why do you think that I don't get so bent out of shape when people talk about me on my YouTube channel? As long as it doesn't get too out of hand. It's because again, like, not everybody is gonna agree with me. And plus, it keeps the ego in check. I don't want to have an inflated ego. I think my boo-boo don't stink. But again, like, I wouldn't be the one to think like that. But still, right, to keep my ego in check and all of that. To keep my ego in check and all of that. And so the Queen of Cups, my family walking in. So the Queen of Cups and a Hermit right here for you, Sagittarius, excuse me, right, represents how so you've achieved so much in such a short span of time. You've learned your boundaries, right? You've learned how to enjoy yourself. You've learned how to laugh at yourself, right? Right? Because that's one of the things that you Sagittarius had to learn to do, was to laugh at yourself. You command all of this respect, but at the same time, though, you know, you don't like, in certain instances you said it, and I'm not going at y'all, I'm just saying, like, in certain instances, as in your fire signs too, so in certain instances you can lack a sense of humor, and you Sagittarius are learning how to let that sense of humor fly a little bit more, because most of the times it's not that serious. Most people don't want smoke with you. That's most people don't want a fight. Most people, even in New York, what I realized is coming up in New York, is that most people like to talk wild and aggressively in New York, but it doesn't mean that a lot of those people actually will go there with you. But I know I will. So that was something that I had to learn to calm down for myself, and kind of, no matter what people say, it don't matter if they're going at you, I gotta live with that. I gotta sit there with that, and or walk or whatever, because just because they talk in that way, right? Every summer, people will get into arguments with one another in my neighborhood, right? Outside of my building. Every summer, people will be wilding when it's summertime, wilding. Every single summer, they will be yelling at each other, going at each other. Oh, you lame this, F you, you weak, you ain't finna do nothing. And for the most part, and thankfully, that's what it is that they do, right? So that's my point. Like, most people, now that you Sagittarius have attained that level of power, all you need to do is the point that I'm making, is command what it is that you're looking for. Know what you're looking for. And if a person doesn't have these traits, stay away from them. If they ask you what you're looking for, tell them what you're looking for. Look, this is what I'm looking for. You know I don't like, I know I want to get with someone who doesn't already have little ones. It's not anything personal. It's just that I want to make the family of my own that I'm genetically related to, and take care of that family, right? Along with my wife, take care of the family as well, right? So I look at that like that's kind of like getting too much of a head start with me and stuff like this, because I would want 9 months to mentally prepare too, financially and all of that, emotionally and all that stuff, right? So just going from having none to one or two or how many is it's very quick, right? But again, I know that that's one of my boundaries, and I know that that's one of the things that I command that I don't want. And so that's what's happening here with you, right? To kind of keep it on that royal scheme, that royal plan, you have to command what it is that you Sagittarius are looking for. Don't be with anyone that does not strike your fancy. So let's clarify the Hermit. And when I say strike your fancy, I'm not talking about just physically. I'm talking about like peeping game as to who they are. Like, when I get to know, like, for instance, when I get to know people, I'm trying to get to know them for real. Like, do you have little ones? Like, do you have any little ones? Do you like you understand what I'm saying? Like do you have little ones? Do you have a job? Like, what is your, like, how do you get your resources? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be really like scoping them out, trying to find out like what type of, interactions they be on. And so let's clarify the Hermit. You have the Ace of Gabriel, Six of Ariel, the Perspective, Two of Gabriel, and then you have the Page of Michael to clarify the Hermit. So to clarify these to clarify the Hermit, right? Excuse me. This is about how so the Ace of Gabriel, the Six of Gabriel, and the Perspective. And again, if they can't meet this criteria, as long as the criteria is not sky high, if they can't meet this criteria, you ain't got to hang around them. Don't hang around them, because them not being able to meet that criteria means the two of you are probably not compatible anyway. So it would be a waste of your time as Sagittarius to be like, oh, you're going to go holler at them and go see what they are about anyway. No, you're wasting your time doing that. The Two of Gabriel and the Page of Michael right here represents. And then when you find individuals that kind of has some of the things that you're looking for, some of the markers that you're looking for, right? The traits that you're looking for. Now is how well the two of you get along. Because sometimes the person can have different traits that you may like and that you may be compatible with, and you go, oh, I like this person. Then you get to know them, and then the next thing you know, the person can't stop like playing games with you, and then they're a little bit immature, and then now you Sagittarius are like, it's hard to get close to this person because this person is like, they always on some BS with me, right? They always they never have time or whatever. So that's why it is that I'm saying for you Sagittarius to know what you like, know what your boundaries are, because you will be able to, as you go along, understand when a person is still good, they're still okay, between when they're in the danger zone where it's like, this isn't what it is that you would like. This is not something that you would go for. This isn't something that you could be with long term. So that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. You Sagittarius have come along very quickly. You're ahead of some of the other zodiac signs. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Trying to get the YouTube channel to 100K. We at 22,295 subscribers. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos. Come through and get a personal reading. The link to that is in the comment section below, called the Linktree link. Peace.